Hey friends, we're going to do a research today with oracle cards, and that is going to be about the end of childism. Is harmonious twin flame union the consciousness state that you want to have as foundation to really build your twin flame union relationship with your mission and your family and everything that you want in it? Is harmonious twin flame union that foundation going to be the end of childism? And what is childism? Well, that is that we as a society, as a social group, parents, but also more general, do as if children are not human beings. They're like a sort of lower class human being or something. They are like not really real. They are not to be taken seriously as a human being that has an autonomous personhood. They are like subjects of being needing to be disciplined, or they are extensions of what I want you to do for me, or other narcissistic ideas about children, that they should serve you, that they should do what you say, that you should control them, that they should be controllable, that it doesn't matter what you say to them or what you do to them or how you harm them, how you communicate with them, because they're second-rate citizens anyway. So, and they'll also forget whatever you do to them, which is all, of course, not true. It's completely nonsense. But there are lots of people that deal like that with their children. And that is some sort of narcissistic until deeply narcissistic, like a mental health condition that has actually progressed into a psychiatric disorder. But it's also more general in our culture that this is very much happening. And some might say, well, certain generations, sure, but it also doesn't matter what generation. What matters is that childism is, of course, a nonsense. It's abominable. It's awful. You don't do that. Children are human beings. Children are just like you and me, just a little bit smaller, which should invite you to have more of a consideration for them instead of less. They are the grown-ups of the future, which should give you reason to think twice about what you're doing to children. If you are treating them like second-hand citizens that need to sit on another table than you, that are not worthy of full, nutritious food and should do with, I don't know, like less desirable variants of what adults are eating, and other humiliating, strange practices that our societies are rife with when you would see it. That doesn't allow children to express their emotions, for instance, when they are treated like second-hand citizens that are not allowed to eat nutritious food or sit on the table or whatnot, some sort of a very subtle, almost can't discern, humiliating way, and they would feel angry about that. Then, of course, that emotion is a problem, but not how we treat them, right? So, and their display of emotions in general, of course, should be stopped, because that's not allowed for children. But grown-ups are allowed, to scream and shout, especially at children, for stopping their emotions. So this is all deeply hypocritical, but this is how large portions of social society works. And a lot of it could be placed under the umbrella of childism, doing as if a child is not an autonomous human being that asks for respect because it is the vehicle of a beautiful divine soul and part of their own twin flame union as well, just like you are. This is a problem, childism. I have heard that maybe this word is sometimes applied to the solution, the word childism, okay, but nevertheless, this is how I wanted to introduce childism to you today. I have certainly undergone the humiliation. It was very narcissistic when I was a child. And I have also, specifically in when I was resolving this matter during my Harmonious Union healing process, after Harmonious Union, I came into this enormous wave of healing that sort of went over me or something that I underwent. And one of them was to heal the having been humiliated as a child. And in that period of deeply healing that, which was a very painful period, I also saw around me, like in a supermarket or outside on the street, just really in my street here, or from my window, this window, when I looked outside, there it was. Parents humiliating their children, doing as if their children were not human beings, but less than. Of course, we all know that children are still growing and learning, and they need our help with that. That's the whole point of the difference between adults and children. But that doesn't make them less, and that's the difference that I try to point out. It's like a circle that keeps on going in multi-generational trauma, passing on generation after generation, because when you have been humiliated as a child, you feel good that you're now grown up and can feel strong and powerful. And you feel like you may want to act that out with your own children again for the next generation, because now you can finally be the powerful one instead of the powerless one. And that's how it is passed on and on and on and on and on. Now, you can call this many things, but I wanted to address it today with the word childism. And we're going to see what the oracle cards that I have selected here are going to say about this phenomenon, what it means, how Harmonious Union can help it stop forever after. So let's see. Yeah, I think we should just start, right? Okay, we're just going to start here, because Divine Mother guides my glance and shows me the cards that I'm going to start with. And these are the, what are they called? This is the Oracle of the Roses. Well, show me, Divine Mother. Blueprint of the Seeds. The blueprint is inside of you. Make the next step. Well, isn't this like a fetus in the womb? The seed is growing. But it is like the image is like a grown up as a fetus in the womb that is the earth. In other words, we're all children. Everyone is a child. We're all children of Divine Mother. Everyone has their child that they once were, physically and emotionally, still living inside of them. We all have been a child, and now we're just a bigger child that is more able to live on its own, more autonomous. But we were actually already an autonomous being, an autonomous soul. living in their own right under the relationship with their God. Right? And we all have the blueprint of being a twin flame inside of us, longing for the reparation of our union. And that is also worthy of respect for anyone, grown up, child of any age, doesn't matter. It's an ageless phenomenon. You can always attract your true twin flame if you desire that and you tune into that and you purify yourself. That can also be as a child, because the child feels the heart calling and says yes to it and attracts their twin flame to them. That's what happens all the time. I mean, I did that too. I was 12 for like 3 months, and then I met my true twin flame. So I must have attracted that. I must have wanted that. I must have felt it in my heart and said somehow yes to it. We all have it inside of us. It doesn't matter what age we are. And that's a beautiful entrance to starting to respect children of any age. It's also true that on the twin flame journey, by doing the twin flame inner work that you want to do to purify yourself so that you can come in harmonious twin flame union, and also so that you come into your union in the best possible shape, spiritually, emotionally speaking, so that you have the least chance, of course, of all kinds of problems that you might face. So on your way there, you will see that you will start to do, inside of the advised twin flame inner work, inner child healing. Everyone does that there. That is what is inside of the key inner work tool for twin flames. There is inner child healing there as well. Many things are comprised into anyway, that tool. And inner child work is in there too. You will start to acknowledge the beautiful, tender little one that is still alive inside of you, and you will learn to embrace her and to love her and to take her on your lap, to just be so cozy with her. You will start to do that. You will. And you will start to have respect for her, or him, of course. And that is the whole point of twin flame inner work. And you will start to grow up from that experience, so that you become more and more matured in the whole process. And you do that together with your inner child. You will absolutely experience that. And that is one of the ways you can reach harmonious twin flame union. So the child always plays a role in your union. There, of course, might also be children born from your union. What about that? Many of you long for that. That's also normal, very much possible. In very many ways, right? Maybe you feel called to have a biological child. Maybe you feel called to adopt a child. Maybe there are already children from your side and their side, and you introduce them into your unit lovingly. And you can pass on what that relationship of union really is, and the sacredness of it, and the door of divine love inside of you that it is, and then pass on through that door towards your children that divine love, so that they can drink from it too, which will heal them too. So harmonious union is a beautiful thing for inner children and actual children. of any age. And yeah, to come back there, at the end of the day, you are a child of the divine. And that is also a beautiful way to get into the true twin flame healed state that you want to go to realize that, not only know that, but more like remember that and embody it, that you are a child of the divine that has created you. And you were created together with your twin flame as a unit in your union. And you remember that state. And then it comes into your life as a materialization of that. That's what we all desire, and that's what it's really about, and it's really possible. And what makes it a lot more possible is like including the child. Including the child in all ways that you feel that it is applicable to you. Yeah, okay, well, okay then. I saw the golden tarot, so let's do that. Okay. Yeah, this one showed itself, and it is the 8 of Swords, but then reversed. And we see this woman that is surrounded by 8 swords put in the ground, and she is blindfolded. And it's almost as if she is also one of the swords. The swords are her grievings, her griefs, her worries, her mental distress, thoughts. Maybe she talks to herself in a unkind way as well. And the point is that she feels trapped there, but she can actually take the blindfold off, can she? Yeah, she's also bound by this piece of rope, but that's also not much, Take the rope off, take the blindfold off, and she can also walk away from those awful thoughts, especially when it's presented in reverse. That means that you now understood that you can walk away from these awful self-flagellating thoughts that you're having. And you don't need to stay there. And you got that. You can walk away now. And you will walk away. You don't need to keep on hurting yourself. Even when you've been hurt as a child, you can now stop hurting yourself as a grown-up. Which is very difficult because we internalize this sound, the voice of the parent in our own head, and it becomes our super ego that will now talk down to ourselves when you would, for instance, have been talked down to by your parent as a child. And now you're talking down to yourself, in your head, to yourself, mentally. And that is how it has just been completely ingrained into you. And that's like this internal nasty voice that you might be hearing all day, every day, over decades of your adult life. But it is possible to stop that and to walk away there. I have experienced that myself through the key exercise, which is the Twin Flame inner work. Going to harmonious union, the consciousness state, and then beyond it as well, where for me a whole load of healing happened with the after harmonious union healing wave, how I call it now, which you will probably experience as well when you're there. That's where I was also able to repair this inner superego that was berating myself, because I have been berated my entire childhood. So that was how this superego was programmed to behave, which is beyond awful, of course. I was pushed around my entire childhood. So the only way for myself to become active as an adult was to push myself around, which is like a self-sabotaging, awful way to deal with yourself, right? So I would also resist the the pushing myself around. So this is one big inner conflict, of course, which was created by having been raised by childish influences, right? But later in my harmonious union healing journey, this started to repair itself, and all the awful things that I've ever heard that were, as it appeared, stored in my heart. I didn't know that it worked like that, but that's how it was released. So that's how the reality was stored in my heart, and it was released to rise to my brain. So I heard all the messages that I had been collecting as a child now consciously. It was playing out in my mind one last time to be let go of and never return. And that was happening in like months, a couple of months time. Well, a lot of months actually, because there was a lot. And then it stopped. And that is also like a general thing that you will experience in harmonious union key healing work, that you will experience a revisiting of these kinds of things, and then it will be done in such a way that then it will be let go of to never return. That's like your last walk through this nasty landscape. And now you can consciously see it and heal it. It's like you already start to walk away, but now you're aware of the swords that are sticking in the ground around you. And then it's done. And your inner child is freed. Okay, I see the energy point cards. I work with a 9-point energy system that Divine Mother developed together with me. They are in and around your body and also in the world. And we're going to see which energy point we're going to focus on for the childism resolution. 5A, so that is going to be the 2 intersecting circles, and that is corresponding to the upper back between the shoulder blades, where your divine nourishment anchors into your energy system, where your body lives inside of. And that is like a protective mother that comes to you to embrace you from behind and like feed you, nourish you in the heart, but from the sort of impersonal point of entrance, which is from behind, which is where like God is supporting you from behind and nourishing you there, and like literally supporting you, right? Who stands behind you? Divine Mother. So yeah, that's what you can start to relax. That's an energy point you can start to relax and open when you are going through this inner child healing. And so that you can let the influence of Divine Mother into your cells and into your energy body, and embrace of that, and yeah, like the opening towards the divine nourishment will start to flow in, as if that's like where your navel is from your with the umbilical cord, from your relationship with the bigger whole of the Divine Mother, right? And it starts to flow in there, and you'll become nourished. So if you can relax that place, if you can feel the sensitive energy that is in and around there, if you can feel that physical place, and what it asks of you and what it says to you, and then that starts to become more accessible for you, and then it can also start to become more fed and nourished and warm and embraced and relaxed for that reason as well. And then that influence can start to integrate in the rest of what you are as well. So you'll be able to recognize that you are a child of any age and of every age right now. And you are a child of the divine. And that is just your sacred destiny as well, because that is what you will feel when you will grow in Harmonious Twin Flame Union, the consciousness state. You will feel that you start to grow there and mature and ripen in the heart, in what you are as a child of the divine. And that's really an entrance for getting the right attitude, for getting your twin flame next to you there as well, so that you're together in that being nourished. Because now the relationship is what you are, and the relationship is being nourished. And you let that in, you let that fact in. And that's where it's really at, people. Oh boy. Yeah, that's where it starts to truly heal. In being the divine child yourself. All the time. So beautiful, actually. So beautiful. Just so beautiful. And now we're going to look inside the divine qualities of that with this card deck that is about divine abundance, made by Tosha Silver. So, Divine Mother, show me a card that wants to come out. Self-love. Look at the child with the parent. Let the wall fall that separates me from my own vulnerable inner child. I long to take care of myself like never before. Well, we couldn't have gotten a more appropriate card, of course. And this is how you'll feel. This is the you is both of you. Both of these, that's you. And you also know that your twin flame also is both of you. Both of those. And then both of you, you and your twin flame, are also like this with the divine. And then you and your twin flame are actually one unit. And you realize that. And then you realize that you're actually the union and the divine parent. And that it is like that. And that's when things start to harmonize. And that's when things start to manifest. And that's when things start to become truly loving. And that's when things start to become truly permanent as well. Okay, so now we're going to look in the life purpose deck. Well, this one, moved, school. You start to realize that life in union is a school. And being always a child, a divine child, is a school. For the love of the soul. And that's beautiful. And the openness to learn from the angels, for instance. Today it is Angel Day, by the way. It's Angel Day. Guardian Angel Day. Did you know that? But this is when this is taped. So that is going to be Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024. And when it is published, this is already past. I realize that now. But anyway, the angels. When you can have the mentality that you are going to be continually learning as the child student of God itself, that is a helpful attitude to carry you through your inner work towards Harmonious Twin Flame Union and through the beingness of Harmonious Twin Flame Union. Really helpful because you have the right attitude for what is going to happen there and for peaceful resolutions, because you're now open to learn something that you didn't know yet, which a child always has. It always has this openness to learn something new. And a lot of the crux of twin flame work to make you experience the romance with a true twin flame as quickly as possible is to become open again to learning and to step away from your preconceived notions, from thinking that you know it already, how it works and how it is done, what the inner work should be, who it is, because you know already everything, right? And there is a better attitude that will be so helpful, through which you will reach your harmonious union with the true twin flame so incredibly much quicker, and that is open yourself, forget your preconceived notions, be curious for what the true twin flame inner work might bring you, and open yourself to learn new things and new facts about yourself and about the journey. Yeah, learn about your unconscious inner stirrings that you weren't aware of, that you can purify. Be curious what will happen when you purify more and more. Be grateful for it as well, for these lessons. That's an attitude that will vroom, take you on the highway to your true twin flame and harmonious union real quick. And now we have the personal messages cards. Instead of putting the blame on someone else, I am willing to feel the pain of my loss. And isn't that exactly what we were talking about becoming open to learn? And that is the highway towards your union. And learning means that you don't put the blame on the twin flame or about me, for instance, or about anyone else, but only on yourself. And that's where you research what's truly going on, and you open yourself for falling through that whole idea that you were blaming anyone, even yourself, and then arriving in the inner peace that it's all about. Awesome. Really beautiful. And now we get a vampire card. Well, let's take this. Supernatural. Supernatural. Not being able to be explained. Inexplicable. That's the word. I'm just translating the words here. Yeah, that's like more words of this that mean the same. Okay. It's like this supernatural resolution. It's just like fish with wings of butterflies will move through the air. That's really supernatural on the picture. The supernatural resolution will be that you will come in harmonious union with the inner child intact and open and able to learn. And that is how the divine can send through you and to you and through you the divine love that manifests union and maintains it. It's like the supernatural solution comes through that opening. And you will stop partaking in childism because you feel the value of being a child, which is, by the way, a very beautiful child here that is like fantasizing about this beautiful, it's like, you know, like a child's fantasy, but it's actually supernatural and true as well. It's like in the picture. So through you, there will be no childism anymore because you respect deeply the value of your inner child because you got your union through it. And childism will stop with you. No more next generations where you look down on children because you now intrinsically have felt the value of what that is. And then that becomes unstoppable because your union will have as mission to other people, to enlighten other people about harmonious union as well. And then they will do it for themselves as well and come into their union too. And that will form new social circles, which forms new societies where childism is not passed on anymore. And that's how it will go. And that is the supernatural solution for what started as a seemingly psychological problem that is more like a plague rushing through all layers of society and all places in the world. But that is a supernatural solution, and you can partake in that by going completely all in your harmonious union journey. And that feels pretty complete to me. Love that. I hope it was helpful, and I will see you in my next video. Love from Petra.